Push to reform child protective services here in Michigan.
The push comes from Michigan State Senator Jim Runstead. It's all in response to the death of 5-year-old Ethan Belcher and the additional abuse of his 3-year-old brother, despite calls to CPS for help.
7 Action News reporter Simon Shaquette is sharing a powerful message from the child's family and a lawmaker looking to bring transparency.
But first, a warning: the images you are about to see are very difficult to look at.
Can you talk about the child that Ethan was and the emotions you feel knowing CPS failed to keep him safe?
He's so happy. He'd love to be loved, love to go to the park, love to be with his brothers.
To his loved ones, including aunts Ashley Belcher and Candace Rush, Ethan Belcher was a sweet, lovable, and kind 5-year-old boy who filled their hearts with happiness.
These children are sent back to these homes, and ultimately they lose their lives at the hands of these monsters.
Tragically, Ethan was found dead January 22nd at a home on Spring Garden Street in Detroit, the result of blunt force trauma.
I would take him, and the caseworker literally wasn't working with me at all.
Wayne County prosecutors have charged his mother, 27-year-old Valerie Hamilton, and stepfather, 27-year-old Shane Shelton, with murder, torture, and child abuse.
The children were sent back to that house of terror, and it should never happened so quickly, so easily.
Ethan's aunts say they called CPS more than a dozen times to report Ethan and his 3-year-old brother being abused, but caseworkers failed to keep them safe. In part of a statement, a CPS spokesperson responding by saying, quote, "The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services extends its deepest sympathies to the Belcher family. The confidentiality requirement in state and federal law protects children who have been abused or neglected and their siblings from the additional trauma of having the intimate details of their alleged abuse and neglect made public."
The system needs to change. We need to all work together to save babies everywhere.
There is so many cases that many of you have brought up to me in the last few days, and many more reporters. It just seems like it's pandemic.
State Senator Jim Runstead of White Lake now introducing a new bill for media and state leaders to have more access to info to stop tragedies like this and bring greater oversight of CPS. Runstead calling this a statewide disaster.
Someone like me, someone like you cannot get the information. I thought, this is crazy. This is the bottleneck right here. This is the bottleneck.
Ethan's younger brother has now been placed in foster care. His mother and stepfather due back in court later in February.
Senator Runstead says the next step is for this bill to quickly head to committee for more follow-up in hopes of changing the state law as quickly as possible. From the state capitol, Simon Shaquette, 7 Action News.